The text widget in Flutter is one of the most commonly used widgets. It's designed to display a string of text with single style. The constructor includes a required parameter data, which takes a string that will be displayed on the screen. If the string is too long, the text will automatically break into multiple lines. If you directly want to insert a new line or a tab, use \n and \t respectively. To add Unicode symbols or emojis, insert them directly into the string or use the code of a symbol with a \u. If the hex code has 5 digits, use curly braces. The style parameter allows you to customize the appearance of the text. By default, it will use the nearest default text style in the widget tree. You can use one of the 15 default text styles from theme data, or override them and pass them into the Material App widget or the closest ancestor theme widget. Using the copyWidth method, you can override some properties for a specific text widget. The text widget trims trailing white spaces in a string, so we use the non-breaking space Unicode symbol. You can also add a TextStyle class and override parameters independently of the text theme. Another way to add a text style is by using the Google Fonts package. Don't forget to add it to pub/spec YAML first. A Google font style can also be modified just like the previous ways of defining text styles. The strutStyle parameter defines the line height and baseline alignment. It is useful when you want consistent spacing between lines regardless of the actual font metrics. The textAlign parameter is responsible for aligning the text horizontally within the available container. Left aligns all lines to the left edge, and right aligns them to the right edge. Center aligns the text in the middle of the available container. Justify stretches the lines so that they fill the entire width of the container by adding extra spaces between words. Start and end align the text on the leading and trailing edge respectively, depending on the text direction value. The text direction parameter specifies the reading direction of the text. If it is set to Alt-TR, the text flows from left to right, for example in English or French. If it is set to RTL, the text flows from right to left, for example in Arabic or Hebrew. The locale property is used to select a font when the same Unicode character can be rendered differently depending on the locale. For example, this Unicode character is rendered differently in Chinese and Japanese locales. The softWrap parameter controls whether the text should wrap onto multiple lines. If set to false, the text will continue in a single line and any overflowing part will be clipped or hidden, depending on the overflow property. The overflow parameter specifies how visual overflow should be handled. When softWrap is false, the overflow is applied horizontally at the end of a line. If the text container is limited in height, the overflow is applied to the last visible line of text. An ellipsis will be applied to the last line of text if it overflows the container horizontally, and it will also be clipped to the last visible line if it exceeds the container's height. The TextScaler parameter controls how the text size scales depending on system settings. By default, it reflects the user-specified text scaling value from the platform's accessibility settings. The noScaling constant doesn't scale the text and always returns the original font size as is, that is 1.0. You can use TextScaler linear to scale the text by a specific factor. For example, a value of 0.8 makes the text 80% of its original size, while 1.5 makes it 50% larger. If you want to control how much the text can grow or shrink, you can use TextScaler clamp. This allows you to define a minimum and maximum scaling range. And finally, you can use the scale method, which computes the scaled font size in logical pixels from the given unscaled font size also in logical pixels. Now let's take a look at how this works. To do that, you need to change the font size in your device or emulator settings. As you can see, only linear and noScaling behave the same across all screens, while the others adjust the font size accordingly. The semanticsLabel parameter provides an alternative string for accessibility purposes. It is used by Select-to-Speak, TalkBack, and other screen readers. I'll use TalkBack to demonstrate how this works.
TalkBack on. $. Double sounds better. Slightly smiling face. Hi, I am Unicode smiley face.
The semanticsIdentifier parameter is used to uniquely identify this text for semantic tools. It adds a hidden tag that other systems can use to recognize this specific text widget. This can be useful when you have multiple text widgets with the same content, but you still need to distinguish them in accessibility trees or automated UI tests. The textWidthBasis parameter in the text widget controls how the width of the text is calculated. To see the difference, wrap them in a column with cross-axis alignment set to center. When the value is parent, the text will take up the full width provided by the parent column. When the value is longest line, the width is determined by the longest line of text inside the widget and is centered within the column. The textHeightBehavior parameter defines how to apply text styles height and spacing above and below the text. It has three options. First, apply height to first ascent. When true, the text styles height modifier will be applied to the ascent of the first line. When false, the font's default ascent will be used. Second, apply height to last descent. When true, the textile's height modifier is applied to the descent of the last line. When false, the font's default descent is used. Third, leadingDistribution, which determines how the leading is distributed above and below the text. It can be either proportional or even. But as of January 2026, there is a bug in the code, so they look identical, even though they shouldn't. I'll leave a link to the bug in the video description. As a temporary workaround until the issue is fixed, you can do the following. Add the strutStyle parameter with the same font size and height, and remove height from the text style. Great! Now the text is displayed correctly for different leading distribution values, which control whether the leading is applied proportionally or evenly above and below the lines. The selectionColor parameter defines the background color of the selected text. By default, the text widget doesn't support selection, so wrap it in a selection area. Now we have 3 lines of text, each with a different selection color. And finally, the text-rich constructor allows you to build a single text widget that contains multiple styles within the same block of text. Instead of applying one style to the entire string, you can split the content into separate TextSpan objects, each with its own color, background, decoration, or font settings. All done. Give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you.